Hello, hello, Youest you listener, amazing community, soul family. I am so honored, so grateful to be part of your life, your journey. I want to thank you right off the bat. I've been receiving so many just beautiful comments and feedback and your insights, and really honored to hear that this show is really impacting your life. That is the goal, is to help and guide you. And of course, it's helping me as well to step into your authentic self, your true self, your Youest you. And I am so touched that this platform, this show, this podcast is helping you to do that. And today's topic is a coffee chat with me and you, with yours truly. I really want to dive into this whole world of comparison, and especially the comparing our inside to others outside. So I want to dive into this because I've noticed it both within myself. I've noticed it with clients I've worked with, and I've just noticed this is something that I know many of us struggle with. And if you have found yourself in a space of comparing yourself to others, this episode is for you. And I'm really hoping that this is going to help you because it's something that I have really been grappling with myself for a long time, and have found that there are certain things that we can do and ways of being that can help take us out of this place, this way of being. The first thing I want to share about is really around judgment. And I've been looking at this for a long time myself, because as human beings, look, this is one of the first things I remember learning when I was a psych major. And I remember, one of the first things we look at is the need for human beings to connect, and the need for making meaning of our world. Right. So what we do naturally, and this is natural to being human, is you and I naturally see what's happening around us, and we make meaning. We put labels on things, right? We even go from, this is me, that is you, I'm here, you're there, which can sometimes lead to, my group, that group. And obviously, if we take it to the extreme, it can lead to feeling like I'm different, that group is different, and we can start getting into judging and start to compare. So one of the first things to just understand and know is that it is natural as a human being to notice what is around you, to notice the differences, the polarities. Like, very simply, I live on the East Coast, you might live on the West Coast. And then that's just a fact. That's just stating a difference, right? Something that's different. What I found for myself, and I found for many of those I've worked with, is what happens next is we often label that experience. We label that difference. We label something we're seeing. And by labeling it, we often go out of neutral. A neutral label would be stating those differences, right? Like, you might state that, hey, I'm an entrepreneurial mom, she's a stay-at-home mom. That's just stating the differences. The label goes from neutral to judging when I start to attribute any kind of negative emotion or feelings or labels or way of seeing those two differences. So for me, and I have struggled with this, it's actually an example. I am a working entrepreneurial mom. And in the past, I often would judge myself compared to those I know who are stay-at-home moms, feeling like they're a better mom, right? I have a very close friend. She chose to do, I think, the hardest job, frankly, is raising your children, being at home and making that your job. And, would often see her and what she was doing and just feel like I was coming up short, because what was I doing? I was comparing myself, but not from a place of neutrality, right? Not from a place of detachment, but from a place of comparison, of looking at who she is, what she's doing, and thinking, oh gosh, I'm not doing that. I didn't stay at home. I didn't spend as much time with my kids. Therefore, I must be not as good of a mother. And what happens is when we start to look at other people, especially when we start to look at external versions of people, which I know if you're like me, it is hard to avoid that on social media. And I have been doing a social media detox recently. And even then, and part of my career and business is being present on social media. So if you're scrolling on Facebook or on Instagram, or maybe, my daughter often is on TikTok and I'm looking at these different pictures and videos, it's very easy to see what others are doing and to make a judgment. Oh, she's a better mother. Oh, he's more successful. Oh, she's more fit and looks better and takes better care of herself. Like whatever it is, right? She has a more thriving coaching practice. I mean, the list goes on. The issue is what we often do is we go from looking at something that's happening outside of ourselves, a picture, a video, a post, someone sharing, conversation, right? And rather than staying in that neutral spot of, oh, look at her, she's doing this, great, we make it mean something, right? I've done this so many times. I attribute meaning. And oftentimes, if you're like me, especially if you're an empath or sensitive, you often attribute meaning that is not supportive of you, that does not have any truth to it, and is going to have you feeling less than, less worthy, and coming up short. And this, I believe, has become one of the worst, if you want to call it a pandemic, of comparisonitis, right? Of getting outside of our lane, comparing our insides to others' outsides. And the thing that we need to do, the thing that I encourage you to do, my friend, is first, you've got to be honest. You've got to notice. And a great indicator, and this is why I believe having our whole range of emotions and feelings is a gift, because anytime you start to feel those feelings of less than, not good enough, lack of worthiness, coming up short, right? Judging yourself, any of those feelings is a surefire, quick indicator that you are in the land of judgment and the land of comparison. And what I want to talk about today is how to get you and myself, how to get us out of the land of judgment, out of the land of comparison, back into the land of your divinity, your sacred gifts and talents, and the land of your truest self, your land of possibility and positivity. And so one of the things first is to notice. Whenever I work with a client, the first thing you got to do, and I always say, is start to notice, what are you saying to yourself? We've got to do that. Why? Because if you don't have that awareness, you're not going to see it. This, if you've done any kind of support, work, recovery work, anyone who's done, if you've done 12-step work, what is that first step? It's admitting there's a problem. It's seeing it. It's jacking up your awareness level. So number one, we've got to raise our awareness. We've got to become aware that you are stepping out of your lane and you're moving into the lane of comparison and judgment. So I can tell you, for me, often the most uncomfortable spot is when I feel that and see that and notice that. So the second thing we want to do is, once you're aware, oh, I'm judging, I want you to use this labeling technique that you've been using to judge yourself, and to label the thought. Oh, I'm having a judging thought. I'm having a comparing thought. I am comparing myself. I've done this so many times. I'll be really honest. There's so many amazing influencers and luminaries and experts. Many of them are on the show. And typically I'm very inspired by them. And that's going to be something we talk about, is how to shift this. I'll give you a little hint. It's going from comparing and feeling less than to being inspired. But sometimes I've come away feeling like, wow, I really wish that I had that kind of platform, or, really want my next book to be a bestseller, just like that person's, right? It's just natural. This happens. So the first thing we got to do is got to notice it. Secondly, label it, because you, my dear friend, are not that judgment that you're believing. You're not. It's just a thought. It's just a thought. I know you've heard this before. The thing is, it's really powerful when you start to practice it, right? So I use this all the time. I'm having a fear thought. I'm having a comparison thought. I'm having a judging thought. So you label it, because part of what it does is it reminds you you're not that thought. You're a divine being. You're just as worthy, and it's just as possible for you to have whatever you see on the outside, which often isn't really what you're looking for anyway. Often what you're looking for is the emotion attached, the feeling. You know, what I was looking for with those stay-at-home moms that I felt like were the perfect mom was to feel proud, to feel connected to my children, to feel like I'm making an impact, right? And so first we are aware. Second, we identify, we label that thought, right? We label it. I'm having a comparison thought. Helps you to get out of the lane of believing that's you. You're not your thoughts. Newsflash, you and we are not our thoughts. That is really powerful to remember. You are not your thoughts. And then 3, we've got to look at it with compassion. We've got to get our curiosity, put on your curiosity hat, your investigator hat, I'm going to look at this with curiosity and compassion. Curiosity is the elixir. This is why that work and world of coaching is life-changing. Why? Because what do you learn to do if you are a coach or you're being coached? You learn to get curious. You learn to ask powerful questions. So we've got to do this with ourselves. And by the way, I do recommend, I just hired a new coach myself. Find a coach if you need support. And you can do this yourself as well. You can start to do this with yourself by asking powerful questions. Asking a question like, what might be under this comparison? What might be the underlying core desire that I'm looking to fulfill here? What is it that I'm looking to feel, right? These are some of the questions to ask yourself. What am I looking to feel? What am I looking to create, right? So for me, as I said, with being a mom, that was one area. Another area might be around your health, right? I've seen women in their 50s who are just look so fit and healthy and have amazing vitality. For a long time, I struggled with feeling a lack of energy. I struggled with my thyroid autoimmune condition, and I would feel really envious and feel like I'm not doing it well enough and I'm not good enough. And I'd compare myself. First of all, I have no idea when I see somebody who's showing a fitness photo. I have no idea what's going on the inside. But what it showed me is I desire to feel alive, to feel energetic, to feel like I've, vitality and great energy. That's what I want to feel. Okay, now we're getting somewhere, rather than believe that thought that, I'm never going to be that fit or healthy or have that much energy, or that I'm not good enough, or whatever came up. Identified it, and then look at, what am I really looking for? Right? And then the 4th step is to ask yourself, okay, so now you've identified, what is it you really want to feel? What is one little baby step that I can take to feel that, to feel, for example, more energy? Maybe you're struggling with that too. I know if you're watching or listening, you're probably like me, because like attracts like, my dear friend. You probably have struggled with autoimmune conditions, or being an empath, or being highly sensitive, or taking on others' emotions, maybe with your own health, maybe with your body, image. First of all, I feel you, I've got you, I love you, I get you, I understand that. The last thing we want to do, though, is stay in that place. What we're doing is, when you're in comparison, you're also attacking yourself. And I do believe, side note, this is connected to autoimmune. This is one of the areas I've been really, really, really digging into. And that means taking loving actions, asking yourself, what can I do that's loving for myself? So if it's around your health, how can I love my body more to feel more vitality? If it's around being a better parent, what can I do to be, to feel like I am a loving parent, to honor myself in that way? How can I be more loving to myself? How can I honor the parent that I am, the healthy person that I am, the coach that I am, whatever it is? How can I honor and love that part of me more? And what might be a little baby action step I can take to create more of that feeling, the desired feeling? So for me with my health right now, there's a little bit of a list, but one of them was getting more sleep, getting more sleep. That is one of the most important ways to increase your vitality. So I got a Fitbit. I started to track my sleep. I started to make sure I stopped talking to my husband at a certain time because I tend to get really, really verbal. If I get past 10 p.m., watch out, I become this night owl. So by 10, priming myself, taking a bath, getting into bed earlier, stopping, any screen time, getting into bed. So by 10, I'm winding down, not winding up, and getting more sleep. The other piece I'm going to say, and this is sort of an added component, is can you start to look at those that you might feel you're comparing yourself to? Can we flip it? Can we flip that script? Can we flip the perspective? Remember, a change in perspective, according to A Course in Miracles, is a miracle. So can we change that perspective and start being inspired by that person? This is going to change your internal chemistry as well. When you go into a feeling of inspiration, very different energy, very different vibration than a feeling of comparison, judgment. Why? Because when you're in the land of comparison or judgment, you are going to come up short. You're going to feel not good enough. And those chemicals that are emitted with feeling not good enough could be the fight flight response, can be cascading of chemicals of feeling, suppressing your immune system, of not feeling well. Your body responds to your emotions. This is really important. When you go into the mode of inspiration, so oftentimes I see these, I just interviewed, for example, oh my gosh, Martha Beck and Mel Robbins back to back, such beautiful, inspiring women, like really. And I just came away like, damn, I'm inspired by them. And I felt so lit up and so full of energy. My body was vibrating. I felt like, gosh, they are showing real, authentic power and what's possible. That is the space we want to go to. Look what's possible. Go into possibility, into inspiration. This is going to shift your energy. It's going to shift how you feel. And if we're talking about manifesting and creating what you desire, we want to come from that place of feeling like things are possible. We want to be inspired. So I really hope this helps you. I really think of you, if you're listening, honest to God, in my heart, your soul family, your sister, your brother, I'm with you. We're on this journey together. And I just want to speak to this land of comparison and help you and myself and all of us to stop beating up on ourselves, to stop doing this mean, negative conversation and attacking of ourselves. It doesn't work, my friend. It doesn't work. I'm still healing this autoimmune condition, and I absolutely believe that I can heal from it 100%. Does it take time? Does it take energy? Yes. But I can tell you, I know in my heart that this autoimmune condition that I have is connected to years of self-attack and self-judgment and comparing myself. And it's time to stop it now. It's time, because you know what? We're in a shift right now. In case you haven't noticed, we're in a major planetary shift. I believe we are at a point, a really important point, actually, an important, I think actually somewhat, dare I say, healthy / powerful point where there is the opportunity to shift our beliefs, to upgrade our consciousness, to upgrade the way that you and I speak to ourselves, because it starts from within. Your outer world is going to always reflect your inner world. So we owe it to ourselves. If we want to see a different world for our children and their children and so forth, and for yourself, it's worth the time and energy to start with your own beliefs, your own stories, your own thoughts. And I can tell you that I'm doing this with you. I am working on this one day at a time. And I would really love to hear from you how you are going to shift that belief, those comparisons, comparing your inside to someone's outside. How are you going to stop doing that? Share with me what's happening. Where are you doing this right now? Where do you maybe need support? Where are you noticing a change using these steps? I would love to hear. Share with me, email it to me. Come on over to the Youest Facebook group for soul seekers. It's free. We have an amazing community of loving, big-hearted, incredible souls, soul seekers. Everyone in there is committed to being their best self. It is a loving, safe space. Come share. Share about your story comparing yourself, realizing it's just a habit and thought. It's not who you are. It's not who you are. You are a sacred individual. You are a sacred, divine aspect of the universe. And my intention, I hope, is that perhaps you are remembering that a little bit more today, a little bit more each time you listen to this, that you practice becoming more aware of where you're comparing yourself, stopping yourself in your tracks, remembering and saying out loud or to yourself, this is just a thought. This is a comparison thought. It's not the truth, right? Looking at it from curiosity, noticing, wow, okay, interesting. I just went into the land of comparison. Don't want to do that. And then looking at how do you really want to feel and taking a baby step. And then, my friend, here's the trick, as I said, get inspired. Rather than comparing and feeling less than, get inspired. Reach out to those that are inspiring you. This is what I do all the time. This is how I find my guests. Most of the time, everyone that you are hearing from are incredible souls that I've reached out to. And I've said, hey, I am super inspired by you and your work, and you're shining your light and the way that you're making an impact. And I want to interview you. I want to share your gifts, and I want to learn. And it's changing my life, and it's changed my life. Frankly, this show, it's funny, when I started this 3 years ago, it started as just an intuitive nudge, like, hey, Julie, I heard this. Julie, start this podcast. And I thought, who the heck am I to do this? But I listened because I've learned to trust my inner wisdom. And let me tell you, my friend, there have been times, I said earlier, that I've come away like, oh gosh, I'm not as good, or I don't have as big of a platform, or I haven't written as many best-selling books, whatever the comparison was. And I realized it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And there's no truth in comparing myself. I am a unique, individuated expression of the divine, as are you. And by the way, that is the meaning behind Namaste. For those who are into yoga or mindfulness practices, when you say Namaste, which is a beautiful Sanskrit word, what we're saying is the divine in me honors, sees, and acknowledges the divine in you. Guess what? In that exchange, there is no comparison. There's just acknowledgement. There's just seeing. There's just being with. There's just the honoring of the divine in each of us. So I'm going to end on this note. Can you come from a new space using that whole background and understanding of the word Namaste, of honoring others? Can you train yourself starting right now to start honoring you, the divine and divinity in you? Because as you do that, then you can honor the divinity in me and others. And so with that, my dear friend, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking a moment to listen, to share your insights. If this helped you, thank you for rating and reviewing this show and leaving a comment. It helps more people to find us and find this. And thank you for showing up as the divine spark that is you. I am honored because I know that the divine, the universe, source energy, whatever you call it, I know without a shadow of a doubt, only creates beautiful, well-being, incredible human beings full of the same spark that is in each of us. And so I do honor that in you. And I thank you for being a part of this incredible family and community. My heart is with you. I hope you continue to see the exquisite divine nature in yourself. And as always, blessings and love you.